So if you are a Love is Blind watcher, right, you gotta watch the latest Jessie Woo video. Jessie Woo collaborated with another great content creator, attorney Symone Redwine, who you guys know was on Ready to Love. But she's also an attorney, and she has her own channel called Girl Is That Legal, and she does like deep dives from a legal perspective to a lot of these things that we're watching out here. Like she did something on a Diddy case. She will, like for this situation, she looked into, her business is looking into people's background. So she looked into Tyler's background. So for those of you that are interested in that, it's definitely worth the watch. But the most interesting thing that I thought about their video, and I gotta still watch the whole thing, but I caught it when they were looking at the contract that the cast members signed for Love is Blind. Now, I'm going to point out some interesting things that I thought, because as a viewer, we're like, oh, why don't they just do this? Or why don't they just do that? Or why don't they just leave that person alone? Or why don't they just do this? And it seems so easy to us as viewers because we're just kind of, taking in what they show us and making decisions based off of information that we don't have. Okay, so I'm going to put that video in the description below. Definitely watch it if you have time. But here's a few interesting things, right? The contract mentions that they have to show up to the altar, whether they're going to say yes or no, right? If they agreed and they've been proposed to or have proposed, like they have to show up to the altar. So I don't know what happens in situations like Ramses and Marissa or whatever. Maybe production decided that they weren't even going to do it, but the contract says that they have to agree to show up to the altar regardless. Then it also mentions in there that if they decide to get a divorce, they will pay like $2,500 to $5,000 for divorce mediation, which is probably going to be more expensive than that. But they do mention that in the contract. But the most interesting thing to me was how they broke down how long they would have to wait if they did want a divorce. Now, you got to go watch the video to find out. But long story short, they have to wait until 11 months after the wedding date, which surpasses most states' annulment time, right? But they have to wait 11 months past the wedding date, or like after the last episode is aired that they appeared in or something like that, which would be the reunion, right? Almost a year before they would be able to even take action, okay? So even if Ashley found out these things and didn't want to be with him anymore, she wouldn't have been able to do anything at this point. But here's another interesting thing. It also mentions in the contract, I was reading the contract while they were talking when they had it up on the screen, and I saw a part, I can't remember which part it is, I gotta go back and watch it, but I saw a part on that contract where they mentioned that they're not supposed to wear the wedding rings on their wedding ring finger. They're supposed to keep their relationship status confidential, and obviously they wouldn't want us to be able to guess it, right? So that explains a lot of things. Like people are talking about the things that people are posting and stuff like that. Like I said before, it's in their benefit to keep the fans and viewers in suspense, or nobody will watch the show. If we ended up knowing everything in the beginning, if everybody ended up knowing everything in the beginning, nobody would watch the show, right? So it makes sense that they would include in the contract that they have to keep up appearances. So it's mentioned in the contract that they are not supposed to wear their wedding rings on their ring fingers after this is all said and done. So I saw it on the TV while I was watching. I'm going to go back and find the exact part, but that's what I saw. The vacations are included in the contract, like that it's all expenses paid on the for the network or whatever. The only thing they would have to pay for is, like, I guess if they were living wherever they were living and there was any damages, like the cast members would have to pay for that. And then the last thing that I noticed that I thought was interesting is that pregnancy was mentioned as well. And basically they say that if the people become pregnant, whether it's while they're filming or after, that is all on them. The network has nothing to do with that. Okay, so anyway, we're just going to wait until the reunion airs. Keep in mind, the reunion was filmed a few weeks ago. And not all of the information that has come out onto these streets made it to the reunion, but it should still be interesting. But I mean, like I keep saying from the beginning, like it's a possibility that he did tell her everything and she is perfectly okay with it. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Get in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this information. I don't know. The contract is interesting. Go watch that video because they break down certain parts in the contract. And like I said, she leaves it on the screen for a little bit, and you can kind of read the other parts too. It's very interesting. Okay. Anyway, I'm your girl, Damina Jo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.